r/AskReddit. What was the weirdest thing the weird kid did at school? There was a girl that pretended to be a horse and make horse noises, and she also would draw pictures of all the guys' faces in detention with their bodies as half goat horse with very detailed massive male genitalia. She was a really good artist, lol. I'm betting she's a furry artist now raking in the money. In 2021, being able to draw animal dong is economically equivalent to a PhD or two. There are two that come to my mind. It just so happens that they were also good friends with each other. The first one, I remember chasing girls around the school with his penis out. This was when we were pre-teens. The second guy joined our class when we were early teens, and the two became best friends. One time, the teacher said something to the line of the back table, out, comma, because they were annoying her. These two ducker decided to open the window and throw the table out. Edit. When I say preteen, I mean around 8 or 9. In my native language, you become a teenager at 11. I sometimes forget that in English it's 13 and up. r/malicious compliance. We didn't really have weird kids at my school, oh shit. I brought a live chick in to show and tell and wore a clown wig for a week once. Oh yeah, and I had my own sign language that I used to curse people. That was unexpected. Wait till you hear about my Christmas tree costume. He didn't say much, but if asked, he would go to the front of the class and perform tiptoe through the tulips with all of the emotion and volume of Tiny Tim, holding nothing back. Now he is on Broadway. The last I heard, he became an energy trader, made a ton of money and married well. He once asked me to play spies with him, knowing he didn't play with many people. I said yes. He took me on a mission around the school, before coming to a stop in front of bushes, pulling his pants all the way down and then started peeing in the bushes. At that point I was out. 3 inches? In your pitch you said 4, and I don't believe in false marketing. For that reason I am out. Said absolutely nothing to anyone besides I like cows for about a month. Anything you said to him, regardless of the context or situation, I like cows. We had a kid like that, except it was turtles. Also super into What Does the Fox Say, which was already a little weird. Ended up transferring. The list is endless, but one incident sticks out in my mind. The boy was getting told off by the teacher, and instead of taking it on the chin, he decided to jump on the table, shout "I'm out of here," and proceed to run full pelt into a steel beam that was supporting the roof. Knocked himself out cold. Was a fun lesson by all accounts. He technically didn't lie. There was a kid who used to eat erasers and growl at other kids. I feel like every school had a growler. Okay, so I had a kid at my school. Not particularly bad, but just annoyed the everything out of me, because I was the only one nice to him. He would follow me everywhere, randomly grab me for no reason, hug me and not give me any personal space. But here comes the worst part. We have school swimming lessons, and you could either get changed in the change rooms or the toilets showers. Since I am a shy person, I would always use the showers to get changed. Figures he followed me in there, got dressed outside my door, and just when I was leaving my cubicle, he was just there, dancing naked. I died inside that day. I shouldn't laugh, but here I am, laughing. This is giving me strong Fragley from Diary of a Wimpy Kid vibes, lol. The weird kid in my school, who was also a friend of mine, had really bad dry scalp during the winter months. He would vigorously rub his hair to get some relief from the itchiness, and in the process would end up with lots of dead skin on his desk. One girl looked over as he was doing this and loudly said, "You what?" And he, wanting to make a statement, gathered up all the dead skin in a line-shaped pile and snorted it like it was a massive line of cocaine. He was kicked out of class. What a ducking power play. This is the best and worst thing I have ever read. I dated the weird kid in high school and even a few years after, and the weirdest thing he did was try to date his cousin. While we were together, he also ate grass, and him and his friends would talk about the flesh planet. I hated my life back then, edit, so I should have elaborated that she wasn't his bio cousin, but she was his cousin by marriage till the divorce. But they were raised as cousins, and she was introduced to me by him and his family as cousins. Also, his whole family knew and supported it and acted like I was the crazy and that I was ridiculous for being mad about it. His father in particular said he wanted him to be with her so that they could have had babies. I'm black and so is my mom, he kept trying to get with. Yes, we live in the South. The rest of the family however was obsessed with the fact that we would have beautiful mixed babies. I had serious low self-esteem, low standards and serious abandonment issues due to traumas in my life at that time, and everyone questioned why I was with him, even our teachers. But I really try not to judge people. What the ever-living duck is a flesh planet. I'm not sure if it was something they made up or something they found online or what, but it's literally a planet made of flesh, like everything is fleshy. I don't remember the details like if there was any living organisms on the planet or anything because this was many years ago, but I thought it was the weirdest thing ever how they talked about it like it was a thing. I'm not sure if the planet was supposed to be alive or what, but they talked about it on more than one occasion. It's not really surprising, because they smoked a lot of weed and did psychedelics. If you've ever played the game Binding of Isaac, that's about what I imagine it to be like, but they spoke about it before the game was announced, let alone released. This one kid wore cheap button-down collar shirts to school every day, and he would only ever button the top button and let the shirt billow around him when he walked. He would stated that he was convinced by doing this every day it would catch on and he'd start a trend in the school and be popular. He was forever alone on that hill, lol. Did he wear something under the button down? Asking the real questions. 3rd grade. Whipped his dong out while we were sitting on the mat. Did not say anything, just sat there as the teacher processed what was happening. How did it end? What did the teacher say? What was the reaction of the rest of the class? I would like to know more about this. This was quite a while ago. The kid's name was Scott and he collected coins. I don't remember the exact fallout, but I think his parents were called in that day. He didn't get expelled though. This was in 96/97. We had a bomb threat and all had to go to the football stadium. One of the special ed kids that had down started the Mac Arena and had the entire school going, and then this one kid that dressed weird ran out on the field with his friend in front of everyone and they started kissing. This was 96/97, so it started a huge mess. People were trying to beat him up and the administrators had to take them away. Meanwhile there were still some people trying to keep the Mac Arena alive. Was a strange day. Edit date at wrong date. Was my freshman year. Link for proof. Email number 4. Imagine calling in a bomb threat and in response everyone gathers and does the Mac Arena. That's just life, Jimbo. Spoke Elvish. On a daily basis. Oh. We had an elf kid at my school. 2. His gear was pretty impressive tbh. All wool and leather. He would climb onto high places and sit there and keep watch. Awesome. Sounds like the girl from my school. Weirdest shit ever. But she was like one of the coolest people I met. She had light blonde hair and blue eyes, would wear a cloak, and to be honest she was hot as all hell. My old art teacher told our class a bunch of stories about weird things kids did in her class through the years before she retired. Before she worked at our school, she worked as an English teacher at the juvenile court school. All of the kids there had issues, but there was this one kid who really stuck out to her. She was assigned to teach him, but the catch was that he had to be in solitary in order to be taught. She was also told that he needed to be watched at all times because he always tried to escape class, and usually was successful. When she taught him, there was a guard posted at the door. The windows were locked and boarded up, and the door was kept locked. The only things in the room were his desk, his chair, and her desk, so that he couldn't hide either. Apparently he was also extremely good at that. The first time she had to teach this kid, they were put in a solitary room, but it had a closet. The kid went missing, and about 3 hours later they found him taking a nap at the bottom of the closet. They missed him the first time they checked there. Another time she had to teach him. This time the room did not have a closet or any other visible places he could hide. She left the room for something, probably to go to the bathroom, and when she got back, the kid was gone. The guard was there the whole time, and the room was basically sealed. There was no way he could have gotten out. Once again, there were also no places he could really hide. The school went on a lockdown while they tried to find this kid. About 2 hours pass, and they finally find the kid when he pushes away the paneling on the wall of the classroom and steps out to casually ask if he could go to the bathroom. This kid opened up the goddamn wall and climbed inside to hide, causing no one to be able to find him for hours. Hide and seek extreme. Seems like this kid would be quite useful as a spy or some shit. My best bud had pottery class with a very strange kid. He would always run like Sonic down hallways and jump over the trash cans. Sometimes other kids would line up trash cans and somehow this guy would fly completely over them. Well, they were in pottery and were supposed to make a pot, vase, anything they wanted. Well, anything went a bit too far in this kid's mind and he decided to make an actual spear. I don't know how it got past the teacher, how it was never mentioned or caught on, but he actually made the spear. It got baked in the oven and hardened. And then the kid sharpened it in class. My bud said once the teacher saw him sharpening it in class one day he attempted to take it, but the kid went caveman SpongeBob on the school and started stabbing at people to keep them away. Pretty sure he ended up running down the hallways being chased by teachers and eventually the SRO. No one was injured BTW. A kid I grew up with started wearing homemade chainmail to school our freshman year of high school. Every day. For all 4 years. He was always pretty odd, but he was nice enough. Plus we had a few classes together through middle school and we had connected over a shared love of a few video games. So I felt comfortable asking him why he started wearing it all of a sudden. He proceeded to explain the defensive benefits of chainmail versus both sharp and blunt instruments of harm. For like 5 solid minutes. Daggers, pikes, hammers, even how curved blades like katana and fortunes would struggle against it. I basically just shrugged and told him makes sense. And we both went to our classes. I don't know what I expected, but I guess it wasn't the basic defensive benefits that armor offers. Edit. Wow. Thank you all. This is a much more widespread phenomenon than I had thought. This all took place in Wyoming, before it ceased being. For all the people wondering if it was their own nightly scholar. Edit 2. I believe he wore an undershirt, then armor and then an overshirt. The armor was about 55 pounds, I think, and it had a full hood, widow's peak and all, and sleeves. This was in the 2000s, so school shootings were definitely a thing, but not quite a weekly event, yet. Yeah, America. Also, I'm not gonna say his name. Like I said, he was always nice and I'm not about to dox an old homie. Plus Wyoming has like 35 people in it. So, yep, I also was not trying to shame him at all. I think it was way cool and creative. Like the thread may suggest, a little weird, but I absolutely applauded the ingenuity to craft it all himself. So I don't want anyone who reads this to think I was shaming or bullying. If you want to make chainmail for school or work or church or whatever, hell yeah, lil homie. Be your own beautiful self. All love on this end. At the local goth bar there is a guy who wears a chainmail muscle style shirt. Fantastic dancer. Raw foodist vegan. Very talented IV nurse. My aunt had lupus and knew him by name because of how good at putting her IVs in he was. He might be the nicest person I've ever met. He never drank when I was still going to goth night. And he would fill his truck with people at the end of the night and drop everyone off. He lost a friend to drunk driving, and I expect that's why he was so amazing about taking people home. It makes me really happy to think that people like this exist. A wild kid activated a fire hose and started blasting everyone that came his way. Students, teachers, didn't matter. One of my old students did that. It was hilarious. Obviously I had to pretend not to find it amusing, but it was great. This makes me wonder how many teachers find things just as funny as students do, but can't show it due to school rules. Like some of the shit kids do is genuinely hilarious and not finding it so seems strange. Weird kid in elementary was a self-proclaimed alien. Once, while waiting for the bus, she told me on my planet we eat people like you and proceeded to bite me. We later became friends in high school and she used to give me massages during lunch break in the quad. Just realized now she was likely tenderizing me. How good were the massages though? Worth the risk, for sure. They took the edge off from algebra 2. In 4th grade, one kid got so angry at something, maybe the work we were doing. He gripped his pencil as hard as he could, started yelling, moaning, and stuck the sharp end of the pencil square into his forehead. What too much math does to a MF. I read math, and it still made sense. One girl used to run gallop around the playground on her own, pretending she was a horse. This is at too old an age for the rest of us to be doing this. Think 14/15. She got a medicine degree and is doing her surgical training at the moment. I bumped into her in a hospital after over a decade. All I could think of to say was, "Do you still love horses?" She laughed and said she had her own horse now. Figures. Sounds like she's a lot more stable now. Yeah, she isn't horsing around anymore. She wrote a list of all the girls and boys she wanted to kiss and murder and then casually passed it out on the playground. 2 separate lists or just the one? Same list, 2 columns, lol. He drove around the basketball courts, following the lines, on an imaginary bus. He'd stop to let people get on off the bus and then drive them to their stops, and we walked in a line behind him. When he stopped walking, he'd mimic the door opening and closing and wouldn't let you on off if you didn't wait for the signal. Salutations, Ben the bus driver. I hope you achieved your dreams. Edit. Wow, a lot of messages asking for more info. To clear it up, this was in Australia and he was between the ages of 8-13 when I knew him. We all got on the bus because when no one did, he'd drive around looking sad. He did this all the time. Not once and not sporadically. Anytime he was outside, he was imitating a bus driver. Sounds like that one game in a gym where it was tag but you could only follow the painted lines. Pac-Man tag. It was always so stressful when you were stuck behind people. Ran out of the class and I guess attempted to leave school or something. A bunch of teachers chased him. I could hear running out in the halls and teachers asking where he went. The door to the class was closed but there was a window. Quite a bit later I look up and I see him at the little window and he just looks at us and licks the window and runs away again, and I see a couple teachers run after. Impressively imitated the barking of a dog. Really sounded like a dog with a deep, fierce bark. Not like a middle school student. Edited 12 hours later. Thanks for the upvotes. I apologize if anyone was offended by my comment. Keep in mind that I am afraid of dogs. If you manage to sound exactly like a dog, then that will make me feel a little bit on edge. Though it shouldn't. One of the girls I was in treatment could do this ask me anything zingly. She could do high barks, low barks, anything. She could make it so you wake up to a dog fight and it's just her. When the teacher told him to sit down, he screamed, "Duck you cow." Fast forward 2 years, he tells everyone he's a vampire and stabs my friend with a pen to try to make him bleed. He was weird like. Sounds like your friend could have used some chainmail. I hear it's great for all sorts of blunt and sharp objects. That one kid once went for a poop. He collected it in a bottle, put milk on it and went back into the classroom with his bottle of cocoa. He then proceeded to offer it to others and to the teacher. He is a senior physician now. Being weird did not harm him. He was just practicing collecting fecal samples for his future medical endeavors. Alaskan pipeline aficionado.